Hi, everyone. This is Azeeza Jalaludeen, co-founder for Shine Self-Help International Network Enterprise. Again, we meet one more week. This is the third time, and we're going to meet many, many more times for this show that we are doing. And it's called Love Women. And I have with me my dearest, dearest, dearest soul sister from Peru. But right now, she's in New Zealand, Auckland, or wherever she is. Thank you so much for being on the call with me, my dearest sister.
Mwah. Hello, Aziza, and it's always a pleasure to be with you. You're my darling, darling soul sis, and doing this together with you, it's an honor and it's such a joy. Thank you for being here, and thank you who is watching the Hangouts. We have really awesome questions that came our way, so I can't wait to answer them and get into the conversation, because this is about loving women. And then the way that we write women is capital W, lowercase o, capital M, lowercase em, because there is a man in every woman. And I hope you agree with that. Yeah, there is a man in every woman. So the way that we see it is that by empowering women, we can also empower men. So it's empowering men, one woman at a time. How you like that, Aziza? I think you.
We lost you.
Oh, did you hear me? I was just saying that there is a man in every woman, yes. And our commitment through these hangouts is that we can uplift not just women but also men, and it's about the transformation of men through women, one woman at a time. That's how we're doing this, aren't we?
Yes, and you are the one that has empowered me to write the word women with a capital M, because when you write M, it's really about, there is, like what you said, men in every woman, in the sense also that, every man have a woman in them,
Yeah.
So it's such a powerful space to be in, and we really, really want to encourage everyone to look at women as an entity together with men. Not that we want to, these videos are very much a space for women to just connect and have some questions answered and have some, a fun time together. And I want you to know, and dear friends, I'm here in Singapore, and my dear sister in New Zealand right now. We are looking, really, really excited at this series of talks or sessions that's coming up, because it's evolving in a very, very interesting way. We never thought that we would be doing it in this way, but there's no structure to this per se, but we are so committed to seeing how we can take our life to the next level as women, because empowerment for women is very much about empowering our soul, which is very much an entity of the world, which is so connected to the world. So, sister, do you want to start with the call, or is there anything else that you would like to discuss?
Yeah, I just want to touch on this.
My phone. I forgot to switch off my phone. Start. You continue speaking.
Mine is off. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that also remember that you men, you come from women. I mean, you came from a mother, from the womb of your mother. So there is this thing that I want to share with you guys, that the idea that there is a man in every woman and there is a woman in every woman. We are not separate. We have been trained over centuries and thousands of years to see ourselves as separate. And the thing is that we share the energies of male and female. If you're a female, you have more female energy coming through you, but you also have the male energy. And when you are a man, you have more male energy going through you, but you have the female. So in order to be in a space where you are functioning at your highest level and at your 100%, you really have to be able to work with both. So we will be talking about this on other hangouts, but just I'm planting the seed in your mind to start thinking about, okay, so if I'm a man, how am I expressing my femininity? And this doesn't need to mean that you are that you will turn gay, okay? If you become, if you are able to express more your femininity. If you're gay, that's wonderful, because at the end, we are all human beings, And if you are someone who is more inclined, say you're a woman, you're more inclined to be more masculine, that's perfectly all right. You just have to explore yourself the way you are. There's no right, no wrong, you know. The other day I was having a conversation with a friend about gay people, and it so happened that actually my ex-husband is gay, and you know, he's like my brother. You know, I love him, I love his partner, and we are a good. I mean, we're a beautiful family. And the thing is that this friend was telling me, yeah, so what about gay people? And I said, well, what about them? And I said, look, you know, they're just human beings. You know, it's like they come to life to experience that part of themselves. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just perfectly fine. It's like when you go to the movies, you know, and there's all these movies that they're showing, right? And then you choose to go and watch a comedy. Some other people would choose to go and watch a drama. Some other people would choose to watch an action movie. So when you sign up for this physical life with this physical body as a human being, before you came to embodiment, and this is a very simple way that I can explain it, is you sign up for your own movie. And there's nothing, you know, right or wrong about it. It's just is. So if we start taking the labels right, wrong, should be, should not be, life will be so much easier. Don't you think so, sister?
Yes,
really,
yes, yeah.
yeah.
I'm making myself mute because my microphone can be really loud, so sometimes I'll go off and on. So
Yeah.
just know that
So,
I'm here. So yeah, you've made some really valid points. I do have other views about, you know, the topic that you're talking about, but I love to explore that in another session in specific, because it's a very, very important topic. We are looking at really how we are born to the world, and the perspectives about exploring our true self. And there's a lot of judgments around how we view ourselves. I think all judgments, every single
how we view
judgment
other
in the
people.
world comes from us, right? Every single judgment, whatever people throwing at us, is actually us, coming from us. So I feel it is so important to explore our individuality in a very, very sacred and a soulful way, looking within. So our calls on all these topics on loving women is very much about going to the core, going to your true self. So I would love to get into the questions today, so that we can explore some really concrete stuff. So you want to start reading the first question, sister?
Yeah. And actually, before we go into that, I just want to point one thing, actually.
Yeah, sure.
When we are loving women, men and women, we're loving ourselves. That's one way to see empowerment, because empowerment comes from within. It doesn't come from anybody else, and it's a journey. It's your journey, the way you choose to travel through that road that you chose, and there's no right or wrong. And this is something that I really want you to get, is that if for whatever reason when you were growing up, you heard from the significant adults around you what life should be, has to be, and then you got stuck with those ideas, I invite you to examine and to reevaluate those ideas. Because if you are just growing up and you're developing with someone else's ideas and not your own, life can be very confusing. Life can be very challenging and painful at times. So invite you to examine those assumptions and ask me questions, ask Azeeza questions, and then we can talk about it in another hangout. All right? So, and having said that, one of the questions that we got from Lucy from England, she's a young woman, very switched on. She's on her early 20s, only 22. And she comes from the UK. And one of the questions is, so how are women empowered in countries other than the UK? So I can give you the view of, for example, in what's happening in New Zealand right now. In this from gathering with light workers and also from elders. So what we are doing here is we are doing our best to switch on women in the ancient practices. And I have a beautiful sister, her name is Nahuya. She wrote a couple of books on the practice of the offering of the sacred waters, which is actually the menstruation blood. And I started practicing that some years ago when I came in touch with a medicine woman from Mexico, a Mayan elder. And she was also explaining about how in the ancient times, women were encouraged, and it was actually a practice that women, when they had their moon, that they will connect with Mother Earth. That is one way of empowerment. Because if you think about this, we women, we are men and women, we are all part of nature, right? So when we are more in tune with nature, we are empowering ourselves in being more natural, being more of our true nature instead of cutting ourselves off. Now, what I have seen in my clinical practice over the years is that when women cut themselves off from being themselves and also from doing things, for example, like storing resentment, anger, sadness in their bodies by not having a proper way to let those emotions run through them, and eventually that energy leaves the body, it creates illnesses in the bodies. So the answer that I can give you, Lucy, and all of you women out there, one way of empowerment is to really to deeply connect with Mother Nature and to look in your own community. What are the grandmothers and the wise women, the elders, the medicine women around your community? What do they share about women being in touch with Mother Nature, and why? You have to ask that. Now, if you don't have anyone, you feel free to contact me, because I can connect you with people, or I can also guide you myself. I have been in touch with Mother Nature, with Mother Earth for several years already, and it's a beautiful journey of awakening, of empowerment. So that will be my answer on that area. So what about you? What's happening for people in India?
Yeah, not only just India. I think I'll take it from the Asian perspective. And I have it that it's still a very extrinsic, it's still in a journey of getting intrinsic, but it's really an extrinsic empowerment at this moment in Asia. We're still looking at women, having gatherings and talking about how we say it in Singapore, in gung ho, how on you should be. And, and there are many groups coming up right now as we speak about it. They run regular events and activities where they gather women. And I see that as a nurturing part of women. And I feel that right now, a lot of women in Asia are stepping up to the process of being nurtured. They see the power of coming together, moving away from, those times when we talk about those feminist movements where people are like, oh, this women thing and women rights and all of that. So it's not about blaming people or getting angry with people about how women are treated. Like just owning back our power is what we're talking about, and power in a very, very feminine and effective, loving way. And that's the power that I think, and I feel Alejandra's speaking about right now. And it's interesting you brought up that topic about connecting with self, because my conversation with my partner over the last 2 days ago, she is this amazing lady who's taken on a huge role working with people in India. And she started a business that's so awesome. We wanted this to happen like a few years back, and she's at it right now. And she was telling me how her body is giving her signals. She's feeling a little bit under the weather with one of her condition coming back to her. So I was really telling her to look within instead of going for the medicines that she was, clogging herself up with. So I was telling her the importance of loving self. She was saying she was having pain in the head. So I said, my darling, take yourself away from thinking too much and get it to your heart, So that's so important in recognizing that our body is our machine to tell us, it's like is a measuring machine for us to know what's going in us inside our body, in our, in our
Mm.
soul. So we need to like listen to our body. So she was telling me she's got pain in the head, and then she was having this condition that's got some nerves in it, nerve issues. So I told her to like really feel that she's being supported, and that to love herself more, don't be too stressed. And this is a very common thing among women, especially when we take on the corporate role and the business role. We think that we need to like go, 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 and forget that the going has to have a lot of beingness in it, and the beingness of
Yeah.
love and nurture that we are, so that's the fun and best way to be in our
Yeah.
life, so that we can take it easy, right?
Yeah. And I want to say something about that, Aziza, like,
Yeah,
because a lot of, not just women, but also men, we tend to fall into this. We think that in order to achieve something, we have to do, right?
yeah,
And we have learned that it's only the other way around. It's instead of doing, you have to bring your beingness first. It's be, do, have. And this principle was explained in the 1 Minute Millionaire book by Mark Victor Hansen. Beautiful book. I highly recommend you to read that. It's simple and a beautiful story in it. So when you are, because you have to think about this, in order for you to do anything, before that doing, there is a way of being. So when you are defining your way of being, your doing will match your way of being, and your result will match your way of being. So if you had the order all the way around, just bring yourself back, pause, stop, observe, and then ask yourself, okay, so in order for me to achieve the result that I'm looking for, what is the way of being that will support this result? And then when you get your way of being, say, for example, that you got to be focused in order to, say, to pass an exam, okay? So, and then focused and relax. So you're focused and relaxed. That's the way of being that is required for you to get a good result on your exam, right? So when you move into the doingness and you're reminding yourself, okay, so I remain focused and relax. I remain focused and relax. I remain focused and relax. And when you are doing things in that space, it's a very different way of doing things. And then eventually you will get to this result. We applied this in neuro-linguistic programming as well. Yeah, when I work with people one-on-one or when I teach, that's one of the first things that I get people to switch. Okay, instead of focusing on doing, having, okay, step back. What is the way of being that will take you there? Yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
very powerful.
And
And just to answer one last part, we cannot miss out the US people, right? So the women in US, how they are being empowered, I personally feel that they have quite a, because it's such a huge place, and being in communication with some of the most amazing mentors that we have, I noticed that women in US are very, especially those who have walked the journey and has become mentors in their life, are actually coming together. If you notice, right, they write books, and Sharon Lecter has written a book, Think and Grow Rich for Women.
yeah,
And these kind of activities are being engaged. A lot of women, huge women empowerment networks are being formed with the US friends leading it. So I
yeah,
feel that those are also wonderful ways of addressing women as we grow. And I love it. And I want to mention this, and I have to mention this about New Zealand, because our dear, one of our dearest sister is in New Zealand, Deborah Bush, and she has done some amazing work for teenagers. Do you know?
mm,
Google that. She's done a lot of work where she's empowering young teenagers on endometriosis condition, and she's the one who brought they teach about the health issue, menstrual health issue of or conditions that girls go through and support them in a very, very powerful way to really recognize their femininity. And that's when, you know, that real stuff comes in. So these are things I feel is quite, you know, impressive. And in South Africa, people are going there to empower women. And that's so amazing, right? The whole world is coming to you to go and get empowered with the world. I feel that the empowerment journey of women is getting very, very encouraging and uplifting at this moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go through the next question.
Next question, sure.
Okay. So this is a question for okay, from Annie. She's 25 from Germany, and it says, okay, so how do I don't let people put me down when they don't take me seriously? And then there's another question that why do I do when someone underestimates me because of my age? So I think these two questions relate to each other. So what do I do when someone underestimates me because of my age? And my answer to that is that is something that unfortunately actually happens quite often with young women or women that are already passed their 60 years old. Don't you think so, Azeeza? That people have these ideas about because this woman is too young or this woman is too old, they already have emboxed these women in categories that either they can't be trusted, they don't have value, they don't have much to offer. And that is so wrong because every woman has the wisdom. Every woman, regardless of their age, there are women who are so young and have so much wisdom. One of them is my daughter. She's only 17 and she's deep. And I know that children actually of her generation and also your kids, Azeeza, I have had really good conversations with your kids. They're deep, they are wise. You know, so what I will say is that for us to not to underestimate anyone, regardless of the age, even a little kid can give you an insight, right? So if you come across someone who thinks that you don't know much, you don't have much value to add, or you don't have any wisdom, don't entertain them. Just let them walk the path. You know, they're not worth your time. And another thing that I will say is practice the 4 agreements. I love the 4 agreements and I rave about them. Don Miguel Ruiz. This is total ancient wisdom. So the first agreement is be impeccable with your word, right? The second one is don't take anything personally. So if you come across with people that underestimate you, okay, don't take it personally and look inside yourself. Because remember that any person that is coming across your path, it's a mirror. So then instead of focusing on, okay, that person is underestimating me, not taking me seriously because of my age or because of my circumstances or whatever it is, just reflect the question to yourself and ask yourself, okay, so since this person is a mirror, how am I underestimating myself? Am I underestimating myself? Ask yourself that question and listen to what comes from you. Because there are times that we underestimate ourselves. I've been in this space where I underestimated myself so much to the point that it got painful. I created a lot of suffering in my life for that, you know, doubting myself. And then I was looking outside for answers. And in that journey, I became a seminar junkie. You know, it's just looking outside when all the while the answers were inside. But I know that I had to go through that journey of looking outside of myself to realize that, hey, actually you don't need to look outside anymore. You just have to look inside. So that would be my answer for that. So, and also, yeah, if people don't take you seriously, because sometimes, you know, we come across people on our path that just love to practice tall poppy syndrome. Don't they, Azeeza? And we both
Yeah.
know that. And
Yeah.
yeah, talk about it, because that's something that we look into quite deeply when we learn mastery during the
Yes.
beautiful Women for Money and You.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. Yes.
What
And
do you
I
say?
feel like it's just a follow-up what you're saying, because it's just so important for us to first see within ourselves. And I feel that right now the journey is about us and nobody else. So if somebody is telling you you suck or you are too, whatever that people are telling us, it's really us telling ourselves. And I feel that that's, the again, I'm referring to the book that you gave me, because it gave me a lot of, the mirrors of life. There's one part that says that, okay, am I really like that? If people are saying underestimating, it's a lot about us not being able to recognize our own self-worth and self-esteem. So this has happened so much in a lot of people's life, and I feel that it's around the world, where I have seen people from US and from, you know, different parts, even from Australia and other parts of the world, where they don't see that they are deserving. So this word deservability rings in my mind right now. The favorite word that DC has shared with us, our Dame DC Cordova, our mentor. So the word deservability is a lot about us. So when people are looking down or anything, and it's very important to find out, is it that we are feeling that way, like what you are saying, sister? And also the fact that, are we putting ourselves in a space of non-deserving of what is around us? So it's about reassessing, because I have come across so many people in my consultation, especially in business, where people just don't feel their worth. They're like, oh, is that right? Am I so good? They question themselves. And when we point out to them that, hey, you're good at this, you're good at this, they think that we're giving them hope. It's like, you're so good at it. And then they're like, you're giving me hope. And it's so interesting how they are saying it. And they give up on themselves. We don't give up on people, but people give up on themselves. So I'm having a different situation about not, being supported, where people are not supporting themselves. I feel that that is a situation that's coming up in my circle of people that I work with right now. And especially in Asia, we have this issue around um, looking to ourselves for answers. And very much it's always about, how the world sees us, how the people see us. And talking about tall poppy syndrome, yes, I feel, and as much as we want to look external for reasons that is cutting us out, it's most of the time we ourselves cutting ourselves out more than anybody else. And I feel that the tall poppy syndrome is happening within, and that's why it's coming without, right?
Yeah, it's a reflection. And another thing that I would like to say about that is that when you are valuing yourself, you know who you are, then the external input really, it doesn't really matter anymore. It just becomes so irrelevant that, because along the path, especially when you're doing the right thing, it's inevitable that there will be people who will like it and people who will not like it, right?
Hate it. People will hate it. People will hate your guts. People will hate the way that you're being, because they can't shine the way that you do.
That's
Right?
right. And that's okay. You might be a mirror for them to show them, hey, this is possible for you too.
Yes.
Now the thing is, and this is the thing, that you got to understand that it has nothing to do with you. That's why you don't take things personally. That second agreement, don't take anything personally, it's brilliant, because then you might just have served your purpose to show somebody this is possible. And it is up to that person to take it in a positive way or in a negative way. It's not your business. So because it's not your business, and I love this phrase, not my circus, not my monkeys. Have you heard that? I love that one. It's not your circus, so it's not your monkeys to take care of. So you move on. You don't waste your time. You don't waste your energy. and then you use your mental space for something that is beneficial for you. So don't underestimate yourself. Don't really mind about what people, you know, whether they agree with you or not, but take that as a feedback. Don't be arrogant and saying, oh, well, I don't care about what people say about me. Be humble and look into what they are giving you as feedback, okay? Because there's always feedback, and you got to train yourself to be good at receiving feedback. Even if you don't like it, there are times where we don't like to receive certain feedback, because then that's rubbing against your ego. You know, I have had those times too, when I've been told before, oh, you're so empty and superficial. And that was one of my trainers, and we were in a training, leadership training. Oh my God. You know, when I was thinking, yes, I am this giving person, and you know, but it was my ego that got so wrapped, and I hated that. But then I was thinking, then I said, okay, I'm not going to go into that space of hating what I'm hearing, but I'm going to use this as an opportunity to grow and really, really listen. What are you saying to me? And then you go inside, and then you find how unconsciously perhaps you did something that really demonstrated that, you know, you were this or that. And like in my case, you know, there were times where I was, you know, demonstrating being empty. And that had to do with my inability to connect with myself and be full and rich within myself. So then, unless that instructor, okay, and that is called tough love, okay, that she shouted on my face, you are so empty. And I tell you that when I got that, I was like, oh, fuck, really? But I'm grateful, you know? But that's how we learn. You have to be able to be strong to take that kind of feedback, and don't take it personally. That's why if you take it personally, it will bring you down. It will destroy you, literally. So don't. Okay? Yeah. Now, shall we go to the next question? You want to say something about that, Azeeza?
The next one. Why do women tend to blame? Oh, the next one is, what is one thing a man can learn to say to a woman to validate her? Oh, I love that one.
Yeah, that comes from Ricardo from Puerto Rico.
Whoa. Yes. What do you think? I mean, that's such a beautiful question to look at, you know? Because we love compliments. Women love compliments. Okay, all human beings love compliments, right? We love receiving. And do you notice that there's so much of challenge in giving compliments before we talk about receiving? People are like so caught up in, living a day-to-day life that they forget that compliments are so beautiful. People love to give. They give very physical stuff. Right. Yeah. And physical stuff support. I mean, it is good. But when we look at compliments, and when compliments is something that comes from the heart, and, it's not just for the sake of, making people feel good. It's really about making people feel happy and joyful. It's two different things, feeling good and joyful and happy. So we can reflect on how much do we really give compliments. Like when we say validate, that's like, giving back a woman her power, or a person her power. I think I will love to have this like both ways, right? Women and men. How does a man validate a woman? And I think we should look at the other way. How do women validate a man? Both sides. Well, we can touch on that.
Yeah,
you want to say something? Yeah. You want to say something?
Definitely. Now, first of all, what I want to say is that no one can validate anybody. And this is a personal thing, and it goes back to, what we were sharing before, right? So you have to be so self-secure in yourself that you don't need validation anymore from anybody. Okay?
Sure.
However, that is a journey, and it takes dedication. It takes some time to really come to that level. Okay. Now, when you receive a compliment, then that's like the cherry on the top, right? It's like, you know, there's all these extra bits that go on top of that. The way I explain this to my students is, and it goes back to self-love. And I said to them, okay, your self-love, which is also about validating yourself, okay, your self-love is like your cake, okay? It's your own beautiful cake. The love that you receive from anybody else, which is the external, that is the icing on the cake, okay? So, and then my question to you who's watching this video, can you put icing on the cake if you don't have the cake to begin with? Hello? I don't think that's gonna work, because you can build icing, but because there's no cake inside, eventually it will just collapse, right? So going back to your question, Ricardo, so what is one thing that a man can learn to say to a woman to validate her? Just have it in your mind that it doesn't matter what you say to that woman. If she's not really capable of loving herself,
she doesn't have a cake.
Icing on the cake will just crumble down.
Yeah.
And instead of thinking, okay, I will validate her, what about you find ways to support her in her self-discovery and loving herself more? Because that is something that will work for the long term. She's got to build her cake. She's got to have her cake, so you can put all your love and you can give her all the validation that you want, and that is the icing on the top of the cake, right? Now, there is one thing that actually that women, because of our nature, that we really, really love to hear from men. And because we women, we are nurturers. We take care of our family. We raise kids. We are giving. So we want to know that the giving that we are giving is received, appreciated. And that you as the man, that you got things sorted. I got this. Don't worry, I got this. Because women, sometimes, you know, we might worry about things like, oh, I wonder if, you know, he's gonna have a job tomorrow. It might not say it. I mean, I'm just giving an example, okay? Or I wonder if, you know, we're gonna be able to go on this trip together. And because she doesn't want, because a woman, you know, doesn't want to burden the men, they just, you know, keep things to themselves. But if you as a man, you can just tell your woman, hey, by the way, you know, this thing that we're planning, it's on track and I got it. I'm taking care of that. She will go, oh, I'm so relieved to know that. And then sometimes she won't even say that. So if you are a woman who is not able to say those things, please speak up, because a man cannot read your freaking mind, all right? And this is something that men actually complain so much about women, because, you know, men said, and I heard my friend saying, you women, you freaking think that we can freaking read your mind. We can't. You got to speak up. You got to be clear, okay? You are safe to be outspoken in a nice way so that people can understand you. So that will be my 2 cents on that. How about you, Azeeza?
Yeah, I think you've nailed it there, because that's exactly the journey that we women take. And, you know, like doing the housework, and, you know, a lot of people are getting into business and career, and we always want to feel like everything is okay. So sometimes it's like, okay, I'm here, baby, you do it, you know, you can do it, you know, those kind of words really supports us, like, you know,
Yeah.
we are on track, you know, all of that. And
Yeah.
And of course, validating a woman will be to validate her true nature. And so the same thing applies for men too. Men want to be validated, and as you say, the cake must be there first. So these conversations we are having is after the cake, what else, you know, will make us feel what do you call supported. So for me, I feel that coming from a women perspective, to validate a man is also very, very important. To tell them how much we love them, because men are not expressive as women are. As much as you say, we speak and then we kind of miss out on some stuff, but we say things and then, but men want to be told that we love them and how much we value them and how much important they are in our life. Because when women become busy with what we're doing, we can be very multitasking. At the same time, we are also sometimes, when we get into the moment, we kind of like edit, so we can become so focused too. So sometimes men need to know that they are loved and they are, they are part of the, they are with us. We are not going anywhere without them. And
Yeah.
they need to feel that importance in their life, that we are part of their life and they are part of our life. And
Yeah.
that's a journey that I feel that we need to complement each other. And I want to bring up this point, which is screaming in my head right now, is how women evolve in a faster speed than men. Women grow faster. Teenage girls are much more smarter. I mean, I'm like, oops, did I say that?
It's immature. They're so hot.
They mature really fast. And
seriously, boys, those who watch it now, remember practice the second.
I've got 2 teenage boys. I'll never let them hear this. But really, girls grow faster and they mature faster. We have a beautiful 4-year-old niece who does what I feel like saying, and she'll go, "I love my family." They're so expressive. That's the human, the nurturing part of women. So we tend to evolve at a faster pace compared to men. So sometimes when we are in this learning journey, and that's also been a reason for many, many situations, where women kind of outgrow men in some way when we are in a partnership. So it's a lot about supporting each other, knowing that this difference is there. So men tend to like take things in a slow way of learning, but women, when we get it, we really get it. And so that is the time we need to like nurture our men and people in our family, to let them know that this nurturing part of us is always there. It's just whether we are hiding it behind a lot of work, or we just want to let it shine, so that people own back their nurturing self within as well. So it's important for us to know that we are evolving at a faster pace. And when we evolve, we want to have our family intact, our relationships intact. So in order to validate a man or a woman for that matter, I think to tell them how much loved they are, and also how much of appreciation we have for them is very, very crucial.
Yeah. And one thing about that, actually, it is true, that we, men and women, we evolve at different rates. But also at the same time, there is a time in the life of men when they are open, they can take that quantum leap and they can evolve really very quickly. So the way I see it is that by both men and women actually being vulnerable with each other and being honest, they both can take each other by the hand on that path. So, and then there will be times when, say, for example, the woman might be ahead, but then it's just to remind each other, hey, I'm with you, come with me. And then she can bring that man forward. And then there will be times when that man is ahead of his woman, and then remind her, hey, baby, I'm here with you. I'm not leaving you behind. Come with me. You're safe with me. And then it's a dance, where both can, give and take, and then it just moving together. And then I think that's a beautiful dance to dance.
I have to say this about when you tell me this, is my experience when I was climbing the Batu Cave in Malaysia.
Yeah.
And I was having this climbing session with my husband, and his health has not been so good, and that was the time when it hit me so strongly about this difference in speed that we were having. So here I was running, and he couldn't even take steps, right? So that was the time that literally, a physical situation happened, that I recognized that it's not about going faster, it's about being together, and the journey counts the most. And
Yeah.
since then, our life has never been the same. Every time my head says go faster, in my heart I'm like, no, I don't have to go fast. I'm not going anywhere. Going fast. I just want to go slow and go with my loved ones. So
Yeah.
wherever it is, that's been a interesting metaphor that kind of showed to me, like, there's no hurry. It's about the journey, and it's about the life that you want to live together, and the purpose that you're creating together that
Yeah.
matters the most. Yeah. So in relationship, yeah, you said it beautifully. It's about that speed that we take on with each other, and take it off to the next level. Yeah.
Mm. And then we go into the next question, which is, why do women tend to blame men for the issues? Well, sometimes men
Ego.
also for the issues. So it's not a women thing, I will say. It's actually both women, right? But then, okay, and it's a really, really good question, because probably women are more obvious in blaming men for the issues than men are when they blame women for the issues. Women say it out loud, men keep it to themselves. Okay, and I can say that because through my clinical practice, hypnosis practice, I have a lot of men coming
Yes,
through.
men gossip too. Hey, men gossip too. They gossip big time.
So it's not a man or a woman thing.
It's
It's a
not.
human thing, and it's part of, as human, exploring our humanness or humanity and growing from it. So now the blaming, and this is another beautiful lesson from Money and You. I love Money and You. Azeeza love Money and You. We all Money and You, ambassadors. So there is one thing that we learn about responsibility and how we are responsible for everything, right? So when we are living under the line where responsibility is up here, and then below you have things like blaming, shaming, feeling upset, etc., right? So when we blame, we are not looking inside. We are just seeing what's out there. And blaming usually comes from the fear of recognizing the mistake that, say, for example, that I have done. And then if I'm blaming, it's because I don't want to see what how I have contributed to that, how I created that. And then one of the escapes that ego will give me is, oh, you got to point the finger outside, right? So then I will say, okay, so if anyone is doing any blaming, say if you're being blamed for something, then just, again, don't take it what?
Personally.
Don't take it personally, and just get that feedback and observe it, just, detach yourself from it and just really look at it. So, okay, so I'm being blamed for ABC, whatever. So then just do a reality check. Do you really contribute towards that event? So if you have, then be woman enough, man enough to own it. Be courageous to own it and say, okay, I recognize that I have contributed to this event. So then you take your personal responsibility. You are responsible for that, for your part, and then just be the one to come forward to the other person and say, hey, I'm really sorry. I realized that I did ABC, and how can we solve this? Don't allow yourself to be sucked into somebody else's drama by you going into drama. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of your energy. It's a waste of resources. And really think about it, you have this precious life, whether you believe in reincarnation or not, doesn't matter, okay? Because a lot of people use reincarnation as a cop-out, okay? Not to really focus on what's going on here right now, okay? So cut that crap, okay? That doesn't serve you. So focus on, okay, what's happening here now in this life, okay? So any issues that you have, solve them as soon as you can, because you have come with purpose. You have something special to give to the world. And then think about this. If you're going to be wasting your time in entertaining all this stuff like blaming, you know, tall poppy syndrome, you know, like people like it, not don't like what you do, ask yourself, is it really worth it? You know, wait, just think about this, okay, with me. Right now, just close your eyes for a moment, okay, and bring yourself forward in time, just few moments before it is the time for your soul to leave your physical body, because your physical body cannot handle it anymore, and you have to leave, okay? And you are in that space, you're reflecting upon your life, and you look back and you look into those events when you were being blamed for something, or because you felt ashamed about something that you did. You didn't forgive someone that you could forgive. You had regrets about something that you didn't do when you could have done. You have regrets not helping somebody that asked you for help. You have all the resources, all the capabilities, but you said no, and then you look back. Now, is this really how you want to finish this physical life? Take a moment and really be honest with yourself. Is this really how you want to end up? Take a nice deep breath and open your eyes. And I really hope that your answer is no, because there's more to life. There is more to, you know, minding people's little business. Don't waste your time. Don't take things personally. Live your life. What do you think?
I want you to do the other one.
Which one?
Close the eyes right now and think of how much you have contributed to that same moment, right? And how much you have contributed to people's life, how much you have inspired others to live, how much of work that you have done on yourself that you are so elated and in full of bliss and full of enlightened thoughts for the world, and how much of love you have shared, and how much of peace and prosperity that you have ignited in lives of other people, that is creating this fulfilled feeling of love and beauty and oneness for the world. Take a deep breath in. And imagine us leaving the world as that beautiful human being.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Of our friend.
Do both.
Dearest brother, right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is important actually to really to look. You know, this is a very simple exercise that you can do anytime.
Yeah.
If there is something that it's bugging you, bring yourself in your mind to just few moments before the end of your life and look back, because you will get insights.
Yes.
You will realize something. And then, like Azeeza also guided us to also to look into the good things that you have done and how you have contributed. These two things are very, very, very important. Practice that.
Yeah.
That will be the practice for today, right?
Yeah, and I think the fact that it's everything is about us, and that what we create is in our mind, and very much the positive or the negative, I feel that it is within us. And the fact that it's a lot about healing our doubts, like, you know, where we're talking about this question, coming back to the question about blaming others, or, you know, why do people tend to blame each other, is very much a journey that we need to recognize within ourselves. And I would love to point out to the word responsibility that you brought up, because it's really taking deeper levels into our consciousness about how ability to respond in a very, very powerful way. How much are we equipped as a human being to take ourselves to be responsible for something that has gone wrong. Like, so that's where blame comes in. So how much am I willing to take that responsibility matters the most. And only when we take responsibility, I feel we can really come up with solutions. If not, we will keep playing this vicious cycle of blaming games without coming up with solutions. And it'll be like a very, very tiring and frustrating journey that is not worth living, like what you said.
That's right. That's right.
And yeah, go on.
One thing that I want to do is actually I want to invite you guys to join us on another hangout where we can just talk about responsibility, because I want to share some distinctions that I got through the 3-year spiritual assignment that I recently completed. And one thing that I came to realization is that responsibility, I mean, you look at the word responsibility, it's your ability to respond, right? But something that came really, really clear to me, Azeeza, and all of you who are watching this, is that responsibility is not something that we take on. And I will guide you through a process so you can really get this. More than being something that you take on, is something that you are. It's
it's a
being is your way of being able to respond. And in this dance, because it's a dance with your ego and your soul, and it's beautiful when you get it. When I got to that point of clear understanding on how this thing works, for me it felt liberating. It's like, wow, I get it. I really, really, really get it. When in the past it was more a concept, and we are trained to take responsibility,
and it becomes a burden, right?
Responsible. Very different scenario. So we will have another hangout and we can actually share about that more in detail. How about that?
Yes, I think that is a very, very powerful space to be. And you said it's literally a beingness, and to be responsible is the journey to go. When we take responsible, it sounds like a burden, and people run away, and they have a lot of negative connotations around that word. And we have been trained in our mind to behave in a certain way when it comes to responsibility. So we tend to like run away from it, or fear it, or worry that it's and then the ego steps in to say you are or you are not. And literally, if we look at it and how Bucky says it, in our work that we are doing, is that we are one. So if you're going to say that this is not me, or this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, then how do you be responsible? And that's one of our favorite word in Money and You in our blog game. So that's that state of beingness. All of you who are going to be going back to review and going to receive at Money and You programs, when you are at that word, explore it deeper, because the distinctions we are getting as we travel around the world and meet all our dear friends, in the Money and You network, we actually can sense that connectedness, that we are one. And how do we be responsible for each other? Wow, this is huge, sister. I mean, I'm like getting it like in a deeper level right now as I speak about it. And that's why I love being on these calls, that just gets us into our own space of clarity when we have such conversations. It's so enlightening. Yay! We'd love to have more of these.
That's right. So I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Yes. It's like kind of an hour right now. And, is there anything else you'd like to say, or we can continue the just round it up.
Something that I want to ask you who is watching this Google Hangout and then on YouTube, please leave a comment on the video, and then also if there is something that you really, really want to know about women empowerment, it's not just for women, it's also for men. Please ask us the questions, and remember, this is about loving women, and this is also about women who are in business, but it's not just business per se, but we are in the businesses of taking care of ourselves, taking care of our children, taking care of our families, our communities, how can we be even better human beings on the planet? Because one thing that I gotta leave you with, you know, and this is food for thought. Very recently, I come across with this kid warrior. He's a 15-year-old guy who is standing to protect Mother Earth. And he said, Mother Earth doesn't need saving. What needs to happen is a shift in our consciousness. So the work that Azeeza and myself were doing, and the reason why we're doing these hangouts is so that we can inspire something in you that will really get you shifting your consciousness, because this is what it's all about, you know. And then invite people to join the conversations, invite others to be part of this network, this community that we are creating, so then we can engage more people and then we can impact more people together. So we'll thank you for supporting us in supporting the work, so that we can have a beautiful planet where our future generations can enjoy living in. That's why. So thank you, and I'll see you again in the next one. So Azeeza.
Thank you so much, sister. I think, you know, I would love a screen that has both sides, so both of us are seen together. I'd love that. I think maybe I should find out if we can do that.
How we do that.
Yeah, I think that might be possible, but whatever it is, it's been an amazing hour that we have spent today, and I think that's a lot of work done and a lot of conversations, and I would love the questions. Please keep them coming so that we can have powerful conversations around questions that come up in life. And we are so committed all our life, you know, to doing this. You know, people call us crazy. It doesn't matter, because we don't take anything personal.
We love it. We're crazy. We love it.
Yes, and it's going to be an interesting journey in these weekly videos that we would love to have more inputs. We're going to see amazing teachers and friends who will be coming on board to have more conversations with us, because our journey is not alone. We, you know, all women, we are not alone, and we have such a supportive community around us, and it's just about recognizing it. And you can also go into my website, this website that has got a whole bunch of mentors out there. You can sign up for your free membership so that you can get regular mentoring, answering of questions as well, and to be part of this journey with us that's committed to humanity. Just that thought, when you have sparked something, if we have sparked something in your life through this conversation, we'd love you to nurture that and also take it forward. And most importantly, remember to love yourself. Love, love, and lots of hugs. And we're going to meet again next week. All right? Until then, be stay loved and be the love that you can be for the world. God bless.
Love you, and thank you, Azeeza. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being on the call. Bye-bye.